Hello there, everybody. Yes, it's going. Hello there, everybody. This is Fran Carl from Polish Your Pitch, www.franciscarl.com.au. And I'm here today with my very dear friend and colleague of many years, Stuart Fisher.
Hi.
Hi. Stuart is a multifaceted performer. He can tell you about what he's been doing. I am adding Stuart to my stable of performers and professionals to give some tips, and also for Stuart's approach, his philosophy on delivering a piece, whether that's going to be a piece of comedy in a former life, or whether it is delivering a song, whether it's emceeing, any of those things that sometimes I think would cause us to have a fear paralysis.
Visceral reaction.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm now going to flip it over to Stuart, who will be giving us a range of ways. No, not a range of ways. What we're going to do is his philosophy on what he does when he's getting up to present.
Absolutely.
Go for it.
Okay. The reality for me, I think, when it comes down to it is, you know, there's a lot of people who talk about being afraid of public speaking, and and
you know who you are.
Yeah. But the reality of it is when you look at the absolute worst possible outcome, provided obviously a plane doesn't crash into the building or what have you, the worst possible outcome that you can have in public speaking is nobody listening to you. Is nobody paying attention, or people thinking, yeah, they're not very good. You're not going to be physically damaged. The only thing really that's going to be damaged in any kind of public speaking is possibly your ego.
Yes.
We are very ego-driven.
Yes, we are.
People, but the ego itself can be justified by being. It's probably the most insecure of any part of us.
Yes, that's true.
So
easily damaged. Yes.
Very easily damaged.
Even more so than crockery, perhaps.
Well, certainly the chips aren't as visible straight away.
Exactly.
But the reality of it is for me, I've never really had any fear of being on stage.
That's interesting, isn't it? Listen to this.
For me, as a performer, and when I tell people I'm a performer, they automatically think I'm very gregarious and I'm out there and all that sort of stuff, which when I'm on stage, I understand. But I'm actually an introvert. It actually took me quite a while to realise about myself. And I've found in the professional world, there's a gentleman called Osher Ginsberg, who the host of The Bachelor, who actually, he wrote a book about his own struggles, and he's very much the same, as it turns out. The thing about
that's astounding. That is really astounding.
Especially when people make their living in front of other people. The idea that they're an introvert seems counterintuitive.
Yes.
But what I know in myself is, and I've said for years, if I'm in a group of 1,000 people or in a room with 1,000 people, I'd rather be on stage talking to all of them than in a corner talking to 5 or 6. Because when I'm on stage, I'm in control. I'm in control of what I can say. I'm in control of what people can hear. I'm not necessarily in control of what anyone thinks, but nobody ever is. And while your ego wishes that they're going to think you're amazing, the reality is you just have to know that everything that you're saying is what you meant to say and how you meant to be and all that. So for some people, that would require a lot of preparation or making sure they know exactly what they're going to say. For me, it's a case of really knowing that the information's there, whatever it is I'm going to talk about, but also that even if somebody thinks I'm a horrible person because of what I'm saying, it's their thought.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, of course it does, and that thought is not dangerous.
That's right.
So
that's right.
The fear that we're generating in our bodies, those of us who do have that fear, we're fearing some sort of danger, some sort of threat.
Well, it's the fight or flight mechanism.
Of course.
You know, there's no need for a physical fight.
No,
not at all. And, you know, unless you're at a Trump rally or something like that. But the reality is, what you're talking about hopefully is something that you know.
Yes.
If you're not talking about something you know, then I don't think there's any danger in letting people know that you're new to this topic or all that sort of stuff. But the reality is, you're not going to get physically hurt.
No, that's exactly right. And I think I want to roll back to your point of being in control. Being in control of your delivery, control of the environment, and it's your speech, it's your presentation. So,
or even if you're doing a character as an acting or something like that, the reality is that you set within your own mind the parameters for who or what you are when you're up in front of people. If I'm performing as a singer, which I do, please book me, be it in my own shows, then I know that I'm singing songs that mean something to me, and my job is to present my meaning of those songs to other people. If I'm performing as an MC, then I have information that's given to me or that I know instinctively, and my job is to get that information out to the audience. And as long as I know that I can speak clearly, which I know I can, and that the audience is going to understand that information, there's absolutely nothing to be afraid of, especially as an MC, in that sort of thing. Your job really is to disseminate information, and that's it. For the most part, it's up to everyone else to be the entertainment. So
that's true. Very true.
So emceeing in a structured sense is a really good way to get comfortable doing what you're doing. And for me, singing, because I love singing, then it's just a case of doing
so do I.
We've sung together,
dancing cheek to cheek, actually.
Sweating in my case. But it's if I'm doing acting, which I do as well, that's even easy because you're quite literally taking the directions of somebody else or even yourself. But you're taking external directions and applying them, and you're going to be that person. And the whole point of that is to pretend essentially that nothing else is going on around you. I mean, if you're acting in film or television, there might be two of you on the screen, but there's 100 other people around behind the camera.
Exactly.
And it's just a case of, I know that this is my job, this is the information and the way I have to present it, and therefore that's what I'll do. And in the case of anything else, really, it's knowing that there's a set of information that you want to impart. You know that information, and passing that information on isn't going to hurt you in any way. And I understand that people are worried about the opinions of others and all that sort of stuff. And one of the things I realised fairly early on is that when it comes to the opinions of others, regardless of what you do or regardless of what you hear, they still have them.
Exactly. People, did you hear that?
So, the worst thing that can happen, if you're afraid, is that somebody will say you're not a very good speaker, which is what you were thinking about it anyway.
That's right.
And all they're doing is giving you a little bit of confirmation, which you can choose to accept or ignore. For me, especially in my former life as a stand-up comedian, you get tons of "you're terrible" or heckles or all that sort of stuff. And it's almost par for the course. You're going to get that. But in a professional situation, especially, which is what I imagine a lot of the people that you're talking, you don't get heckles in a boardroom. You don't get heckles at a meeting or anything along those lines. And it's a case of relaxing, knowing that what you've got to say, you've got to say. And the other thing too that I can not say enough is, a lot of people will practice at home or do all that sort of stuff, and they have this really, or they'll talk to their friends and they have this really clear and comfortable intonation and the way and flow and rhythm and all that sort of stuff. But for some reason they get in front of a camera and, hello, I'm my name is Stuart. I'm Fisher. I think I pronounced that wrong. Because they're so worried of the opinions of other people. The camera, the people, the audience, they are literally another person in a conversation.
That's true. That's true.
And
Are you listening to this?
Hurt you.
No.
And if you're going to speak in a place where people can hurt you, maybe rethink why
Why
you're speaking
in
there.
the first place? Exactly.
So yeah, it's a case of, for me, the mental idea of knowing I can't be hurt, but also that when I'm speaking, especially into a microphone, as a comedian, one of the lines you learn early is, I've got the stick that makes the words go big.
Yeah. He had the stick that made
makes
the words go big.
So I know that essentially I'm in control of that situation and getting that information out, whatever that information be.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
So, everybody, I hope you've been listening very carefully. For me, the takeaway, and I've known Stuart for quite some time, the things that I want you to take away, because I'm taking them away myself, is that it's a question of controlling the environment you're stepping into.
Or at least yourself in that environment.
Controlling yourself in that environment, absolutely.
Because you can't control everybody else.
No, but you can control where you are in that environment. Really important. All of the other things that we've been talking about will add into that, but this is your presentation, and it's not dangerous, and if it is, perhaps you should think about where you're presenting. So let's look at that, that flight and fight response that you're getting, and think about how you're going to be able to control yourself and control your presence in that environment.
Thinking about things logically, the logistics and the way things actually are, you can't get hurt.
Yes.
Just your ego.
So, fantastic steps for you to have a bit of a think about. We'll do a summary, and I'll put a link to Stuart's. No, we won't.
YouTube channel. Oh, you can. It's not exactly structured at the moment.
And mine is. In terms of if you have any questions, I'll have the thing down the bottom when I work out how to do that. I'll look forward to hearing.
Help with that,
he can help me with that. I'll look forward to hearing from you, hearing how you've been able to make use of the information that we've been collating for you. It's Fran Carl here saying goodbye to Stuart Fisher for the moment.
Bye.
www.franciscarl.com.au and polish your pitch. Thank you. Bye.